Hi, Dirty Girl here with another vintage sales report showing you my February 2019 vintage sales from Etsy and eBay. And if you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up and share and subscribe and comment or whatever else you want to do that helps me out. So I'm going to show you just not all the sales, but just the ones that are a little more profitable, more interesting for whatever reason. And February was a good month. I was kind of surprised, actually. So the first item I have to show you is a Bolivian applique sleeveless dress. This is more of the ethnic clothing that my sister-in-law sends me. She really has a great eye for it, and she buys it at rummage sales for next to nothing and sends it all to me. So I paid nothing for this and sold it for $48. And this is a couple of little cuddling bunnies. It's a carved boxwood from Japan, and it's kind of in the style that they do the netsukes, but it's not netsuke, it's just a little carving. And I paid $15 for that at the flea market and sold it for $48. And this is a little silver plate trinket box, like a little mini trunk. And I got that at the flea market for $3 and sold it for $28. And this is a lovely Native American pendant necklace with inlaid tiger's eye, opal, onyx, and maybe some mother of pearl. Not sure. That's not the greatest picture I ever saw. It was a really pretty piece. The work was so good. My sister-in-law sent me that, so I paid nothing for that and sold it for $45. This is an amber pendant in sterling silver, and I got that at the flea market. I paid $20 for it. Realized later that was probably a little much to pay, but I did flip it pretty quick for $38, so no harm. And this is a lot of cut crystal beaded necklaces. There's 3 necklaces here. One is 3-strand, one is 2-strand, and one is 1-strand. And I just put them all together because they made a nice chunky look, and one by itself doesn't necessarily sell for very much, so I was able to get a good price for the 3 together. I sold them for $39, and honestly I don't know where these came from. Probably my sister-in-law gave them to me, but I've been sort of stockpiling them, so I may have bought some myself. I don't know. And this is an old Mexican silver and onyx ring. And the eagle mark indicated it was from Guadalajara, which is a little bit different. They're almost always from Mexico City or Tasco. So that was kind of fun to see that. And let's see what I paid for that. I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $32. And this little sombrero pin, more Mexican silver. This is marked Los Castillo, which is that's a very good maker and very desirable. So let's see, I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $42. Let's see if I have a better picture of the mark. There's the eagle mark. Oh, there's an eagle mark. Interesting. That does not look like Los Castillo at all. There must be a reason I think it's Los Castillo. Oh well, anyway, moving right along. More Mexican silver. These are signed Espinoza. They're silver earrings in a shadow box style with, it's like cut out and there's dark oxidized silver in the background. And those I paid $15 for at the flea market and sold them for $43. More Mexican silver. This is a really interesting piece. It's green onyx, and these stones are a very unusual cut. They're like a pyramid cut. And this was a nice heavy panel bracelet, and I paid up on this one. I paid $30 at the flea market, sold it for $62. And this is a mode art piece signed ART. Also stands for Arthur Pepper. It's a cross. These are generally pretty desirable if you could find these kind of Maltese cross-looking art pendants. And I paid $10 for that and sold it for $42. And this is some architectural salvage. It's a brass grill, kind of an Art Deco. Well, definitely an Art Deco. And my friend Carolyn gave me this. She said she'd been lugging it around through several moves and she was tired of it. She couldn't figure out what she was going to do with it anyway. She actually gave me 2 of them, a little bit different design on each one. And this one sold for $48. And this is a Victorian chromo lithograph print of some birds and fruit. And I actually had 2 of these. They were complementary. They went together very well as a pair. I did sell them separately, but one person bought both. I was happy to see that. I paid $6 a piece for these at the rummage sale at my mother-in-law's. And the frame, it was so beautiful. These weren't signed or anything, but they were just so nice. I got $100 for each of them, so turned $12 into $200. Very nice. And I got to enjoy them for a while before they sold. So they were hanging in my living room for a while. And this is a filigree link bracelet that my sister-in-law sent me this, but I've been sitting on it for a really long time because it needed stones replacing. And I finally got around to replacing the stones. And once I did that, put it for sale, it sold very quickly. It sold for $32. It's not silver or anything, but it's just really pretty. And this is an Anatoly sterling silver and garnet Byzantine style bracelet. It has like these little stamped birds on it, multi-chain, very distinctive style. It was pretty easy to figure out who it was once I started looking around. And I'm not sure, how old is that? I'm not sure how old it is. Not very old though. Enough to be vintage, but not much more than that. And I paid $65 for that and sold it for $135. And I think actually it wasn't marked, but I found, you know, identical ones that were attributed, so. And this is another print. It's an etching by Albany Howarth. I love buying these old vintage etchings and trying to figure out who did them. Took me a while, but anyway, it was by a listed artist. I paid $7 for that and sold it for $62. And if I remember correctly, I bought 3 from the same guy at the flea market, 3 for $20. And I think this was the only one that was really valuable, but, well, you know, a little bit valuable. And this is a coral Victorian bracelet. I got this at the rummage sale for $6 and sold it for $115. And it had a really neat Victorian tongue clasp with engraving and everything. Let's see if I have a good picture of the cute little... Yeah, there it is. So pretty. So that's, you know, you could probably date it pretty easily from that clasp. And let's see, this is a jade turtle censer. Chinese, very large, 3 pounds of jade we're talking about here. And I paid $100 for that at the flea market and sold it for $3.99. I had it listed for a higher price for a while. I tried it on eBay, moved it around, and finally got $3.99 for it, which I was happy with, but I think probably somebody got a good deal, because that's 3 pounds of jade. Wow. It's just so much. And these are some enamel and brass or gold tone metal bangles, and I'm showing them to you. I sold the lot of them for $24, but I actually had a whole bunch more. These were left over from my big bracelet haul that I did last year. I got like an eBay sale, a bunch of bracelets from eBay. And this person wanted all I had, so I ended up making $75 on all the bangle bracelets, or right about that much. And this is a crepe piano scarf or shawl from the 1920s, and this came from my sister-in-law, and so I paid nothing for this. And where is it? Oh, sold for $68. And here we have a Trifari rhinestone necklace. Particularly nice one. Lots and lots of rhinestones. It was in really good condition. And that sold. That also came from my sister-in-law. I think I had to replace a couple of stones. And that sold for $35. And this is a Victorian deep well walnut picture frame. It came with that crazy looking picture in it, and I decided just to leave it because it was so striking. I think it was something just that was cut out of a magazine or something. But anyway, nice old frame. And I paid, where'd it go? $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $48. And this is a lovely little mahogany box, very old, 1800s. Has a nice little brass escutcheon right there. The thing that I really love about this box is the joinery, and that's something that I look at. See if I can find a good picture of how it's put together. Can't really see it very well, but it's got very interesting joinery. Yeah, there you can see it. It's got these little splines, they call it, like almost like little flat pieces that work like pegs, and they fit into the notches. So you can tell the age and quality of a box sometimes just by looking at how the corners are put together. If they're just, you know, straight and glued, then it's not as desirable as something fancy like this. I'm sorry, did I say what I sold that for? I bought it for $6 and sold it for $68. And this is a Navajo sterling silver and turquoise ring. Really interesting piece of turquoise in this one. And I paid $15 for that at the flea market and sold it for $48. This is a cute little sterling silver baby mirror or purse mirror. Came from Turkey. 900 silver, rather. Not quite sterling, but almost. And the brand is Beado, or the maker is Beado, B-E-D-O. And I paid $20 for that and sold it for $59. This is a little citrine bracelet, not terribly old, probably that from the 80s or 90s. Came from my sister-in-law. No, that came from my mother-in-law. Paid nothing for that and sold it for $52. Been really doing well in the citrines lately. Another Navajo ring with a beautiful pale green turquoise stone. And I paid $15 for that one, sold it for $62. And last item is these gorgeous inlaid sterling silver earrings. These came from my mother-in-law, so I paid nothing for these, and I sold them for $62. And that is it for February. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon with a vlog, probably.